Support for Mission Nonprofit is provided in part by Thurston Talk.
Hi, my name is Andrea Capere, and you're watching Mission Nonprofit. Each month, we connect with local organizations and agencies that are making a positive impact in our communities. We've invited President Katya Miltimore and President-elect Natalie Skovran of the South Sound Partners for Philanthropy to discuss their role in their consortium to responding to local needs and supporting the success and health of our community. Thank you both for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So can you each tell me, what is it that the South Sound Partners for Philanthropy does?
We are an organization that was created about 16 years ago to provide an opportunity and a place for nonprofit professionals to meet with one another, to exchange ideas, to lean on each other for support, find educational opportunities, and most importantly, celebrate philanthropy in our community.
And so what is that networking piece and that education piece? That is key to the work of the South Sound Partners. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so every month the partners meet actually here at Thurston Community Media. And it's an opportunity for all of our partner agencies, which are a lot of local nonprofit agencies in Thurston, Mason, and Lewis counties, and some Pacific County as well, to really discuss what's going on in the development world, what's going on with philanthropy, what are trends, what are needs that we have as development professionals and nonprofit professionals, but then also how can we build some educational opportunities and celebrate, like Katya said, celebrate local giving. And so we have different educational opportunities every year that are training opportunities for professionals in the nonprofit world and cross sectors to really engage with our mission and engage with each other as a community.
And can you tell me what might be an example workshop?
Absolutely. So in the past few years, we offered a variety of different trainings. Earlier, a few years ago, we had training opportunities for nonprofits to learn how to do a good job with fundraising events, for example. So it was really dissecting fundraising events and really finding those specific components that bring the biggest return on investment for any nonprofit that decides to engage in that work. So that's one example that's very technical, provides really specific ideas to folks like Natalie and myself when we have our auctions, when we have our fundraising breakfasts and things like that. Whereas just most recently, a couple of weeks ago, we invited actually an Olympic coach who spoke to a group of nonprofit professionals, and we reached out to the for-profit sector as well. And she talked more about the secret of slight edge. So how to be phenomenal at what you do, whether it's professional pursuits, whether it's personal life, whether it's volunteer work. And it was more of a self-help almost type of training, but I think it was above and beyond just basic self-help. It really was giving us an opportunity to understand what takes one to become excellent at whatever they try and do.
And you each mentioned celebrate giving. That is your tagline for the South Sound Partners. And you recently had a luncheon, right? Can you tell me more about how you're celebrating giving?
Yeah, so every year the South Sound Partners, we have an annual luncheon to celebrate philanthropy in our community. And our partners members nominate organizations or couples or families or young philanthropists that are up and coming that really give to our community and really make an impact, whether that's giving coffee at every one of our events and always being there, or a family that comes through and through and impacts multiple one of our organizations. So we often find that those who are honored and celebrated have an impact across all of the partners or multiple of the partners, that it's not just my organization or Katya's, but there's a community impact, and that we have a panel that helps to choose every year's recipients to really honor and celebrate those who contribute.
And so what are those categories?
Sure. So there are categories that are chosen by the panel, like Natalie said, and the panel is made up from previous recipients. So those are folks in our community that have already demonstrated their commitment to philanthropy. And those awards, we've had many different categories. The categories sort of morphed and evolved over the years. This year we celebrated Dr. Bob and Lynn Brenton for personal philanthropy, and then we also recognized Dorf and Bronson coffee roasters for business philanthropy. So those are two categories that are selected by the panel. And then we had two categories that were actually selected by the membership. And so that was the Young Philanthropists and also the Paul Grutus Inspirational Award.
And we had the Community Philanthropy Award, which was awarded to Evergreen
Right.
Christian Center for their community work. So.
Right, and I think Natalie picked up, I was forgetting
Yep.
that.
It's all right, it's a team effort.
That's right. And so that third award was also nominated by our previous, those who we celebrated previously. The two awards that we selected among the membership, so the Next Generation Philanthropists, this year actually was a little different because we picked a group of young people, and this was Studio West Dance Guild, so young ballerinas that dance for Studio West, and actually many of them are by that point are in high school. They volunteer quite a bit, and I think Natalie can really speak to that extensively because they benefited her organization. And then Paul Grutus Inspirational Award, we probably could discuss a little later as well.
Yeah, and I would say for Studio West, one of the factors that really led into us nominating and selecting them was that they every year have a dance guild and a dance showcase, and all of their proceeds from that event, they select a nonprofit every year, and the Family Support Center has been really awesome in having received that award for the in 2017 and will be 2018. But it's a year-long partnership, so every month they're at our organization volunteering their time, finding out how can we give and how can we give physical items and give time and sometimes give financial contributions. And so it's really building up our next generation and building up our youth, and so they're learning opportunities to really give back to the community that might not be able to them giving financially, but also I have all of these extra clothes in my closet that will benefit kids in my community, or I have this great opportunity that I can really support the community and support other families in my community. So
that's that networking piece when you're connecting nonprofits to other nonprofits. And is there an in-kind piece that other nonprofits might be like, oh, hey, at Thurston Community Media, we could offer this type of media support in exchange, or how does that work?
I think there is a little bit of that. I think we at Boys and Girls Clubs, for example, oftentimes may offer free memberships to even kids that come from Family Support Center of South Sound. Sometimes we exchange baskets for one another's auctions, and so we often donate a week of free camp at our summer camps. So I think it's one way that I guess nonprofits support each other with in-kind support and contributions. I have been asked by some nonprofits to just kind of provide advice based on some things that they see my organization, our organization do well. And so it's a little bit of informal consulting in a way. And so we're always happy to share. I think it's really important that we lift all boats. And so I love working with other nonprofits. Sometimes it's smaller, all volunteer-ran organizations where there's not necessarily the staff resources available to accomplish some of the really critical things that this organization is trying to do. And so, and then I'm especially excited to help because I'm so impressed by folks doing such amazing work all on volunteer basis. And so I'm very happy to provide a bit of my expertise or knowledge. Case in point, Junior League of Olympia, they're all a volunteer-run organization. They reached out both to me personally, but also to the South Sound Partners for Philanthropy. Olympia School District Education Foundation, again, all volunteer board, very minimal staff support. So organizations like that that are finding those resources and finding time and patience and dedication to support such important causes, that's where Partners really steps in very well in providing additional training, expertise, resources, a cup of coffee to discuss a fundraising plan or financials or whatnot.
yeah.
Well, it sounds like a lot to celebrate, and TC Media recorded the luncheon. So let's take a look at some of that video now.
Good afternoon. My name is Katya Miltimore, and I'm the current president for South Sound Partners for Philanthropy. And it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all here today to celebrate philanthropy in our community. Our organization is a consortium of local nonprofits, and we are tasked with providing networking and education opportunities for our members who are local nonprofits, as well as recognizing philanthropy and giving in South Puget Sound. This year, we have 5 individuals, businesses, and community groups who we would like to recognize. So first, our award goes for personal philanthropy. This year, we recognize Dr. Robert and Lynn Brenton.
Everybody in this room has worked hard to improve everything about the South Sound community, and we all appreciate it. Robert and I are thrilled to be able to represent you by having this award given to us. We think it's one of the most exciting times that we've had, and we thank you, thank you, thank you.
Our next award is for business philanthropy. Business community in Thurston County gives so much, and so we're so grateful to many small local businesses that continue supporting local nonprofits. This year, the award for business philanthropy goes to Bad Dorf and Bronson Coffee Roasters. Accepting the award on behalf of Bad Dorf and Bronson is Dave Wasson.
It is a real honor for Bad Dorf and Bronson to receive this award, and we thank you.
There are many community and civic organizations that are involved in nonprofit world at a significant degree. There are Rotary clubs, Kiwanis, other civic service clubs, junior leagues, Zontas of the world, but there's also a large number of faith-based organizations that support the work of nonprofits. So this year, once again, we are recognizing a faith-based organization as the Community Organization of the Year, and I'm very excited to recognize Evergreen Christian Community as our next honoree. Accepting the award on behalf of Evergreen Christian Community is Head Pastor Jim Ladd.
We cheer on all organizations, faith-based or not, that help human beings flourish, and we're thrilled to be a part of that. So thank you very much.
This next award is my personal favorite because it celebrates young philanthropists. Young people are becoming more and more involved in their communities, whether it's through volunteer work, sometimes through actual monetary philanthropy, or many different other ways to get involved. And every year we have some amazing young citizens of Thurston County up here being celebrated for the contributions that they're making to their community. This year it's a very special group of people, very near and dear to my own heart, and we're recognizing Studio West Dance Academy. I believe the entire crew is coming up to accept the award. I would like to introduce Loang Deng, Sponsorships and Outreach Coordinator for the Studio West Dance Guild.
It's been a privilege for us to be able to work with some of the organizations that are here in attendance today, to advocate for your work, to connect you to an audience that maybe you don't know about your work, to raise funds for your programs with the Charity Gala, and to help in some small way with our volunteering efforts. And for those organizations that we haven't had a chance to work with, we hope that we will have an opportunity to connect with you in the future and advocate for your work as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. And just a personal note, these dancers dance and rehearse for maybe 15 to 20 hours a week on top of their regular school schedule. So the fact that they're finding time to volunteer in their community is absolutely outstanding. So congratulations again. Now on to our final award, and this is our Paul Grudas Inspiration Award. 7 years ago, the South Sound Partners for Philanthropy created an award to honor an individual whose long-term involvement and commitment to the mission of area nonprofit organization inspires those around them to be active in their community. In light of the incredible example of selfless service to others demonstrated by our late friend Paul Grudas, the members of the partners named the award in his memory. This year's recipient of the Paul Grudas Inspiration Award is Val Gerst.
Thank you to South Sound Partners for Philanthropy for this honor and for hosting this celebration. I know this honor is supposed to be all about me, but I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for the two organizations that inspired me. Homes First, to provide safe, healthy, and affordable rental homes for those who need them most. The Why, to eliminate racism and sexism, to advance the political, social, and economic status of all women and girls. Thank you.
So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules and joining us here today to celebrate philanthropy and inspire hope in our community.
So that looked like a great event. Congratulations to those recipients. Do you want to recognize them now?
Absolutely. I'll start by talking a little bit about Dr. Robert and Lynn Brenton, and they were recognized for personal philanthropy, and oh my gosh, how impressive. 50 years in our community. They were instrumental in getting the Washington Center for the Performing Arts started, and what a jewel in our community. I know Lynn was chairing the capital campaign for this establishment. They donate to the Boys and Girls Clubs quite regularly, and we're very grateful to them for their philanthropic support. I know that Dr. Brenton was also first president of the Providence St. Peter Foundation Board, and that organization does so much to support access to health care and just quality of care in our community. So very, very pleased to have them recognized this year.
Yeah, and the community organization this year was Evergreen Christian Center, and they are a great staple in our community, and I know for the Family Support Center, we really rely on them in supporting families, and so I know that a lot of our families access the resources that they offer, such as rental assistance and utility assistance, and they've really impacted our entire community and supporting families and supporting individuals and meeting their needs when they need it most. And so they have been a pivotal and instrumental resource in our community for a lot of the organizations and a lot of the partners members. So we're really excited to have honored them this year.
Business philanthropy, we recognize Dorf and Bronson, and oh my gosh, who doesn't like coffee in the Pacific Northwest? They donate to many, many local nonprofits in kind, so providing quite a bit of support through by providing coffee for events. And I know that that's sometimes could be a significant expense. Again, we're in the Pacific Northwest.
We benefit from Dorf and Bronson as well every day. They've donated coffee to us for years and years. So
yeah, so that works out great. We're very grateful to them, and I know that they're very community-minded and a wonderful organization in our community.
Yeah, and this year the Paul Grutus Award went to Val Gerst, who is a longtime volunteer in our community. She volunteers regularly with the YWCA of Olympia, and one of the great things about Val that a lot of our organizations see is she is the fly under the radar, will just happen to be in your garden on Sunday morning, making sure that the front of your office building looks warm and welcoming for families and women and children to enjoy and to walk into. And so between the YWCA and the Family Support Center, and I know she volunteers her time at the Governor's Mansion, so you might see her at an event and she's happily taking your coat, and just a real advocate for women and children and for racial and social justice in our community. And really embodies what the Paul Grutus Award is all about. So we were really honored and excited to honor her this year.
Yeah. Great. So we had touched on this a little earlier, and you had talked about it a little, but I want to talk about needs in the community. What are some of those needs areas that we're seeing in this region?
I think probably Natalie and I are both partial to families and children just because of the organizations where we work. So definitely providing any kind of support and ideally wraparound support to families and children is really key. In my observation, and I've returned to this community 10 years ago, I think the issue of homelessness has become really in sharp focus for Thurston County. Unfortunately, that seems to be on the rise, and so both of our organizations have specific programs that address that need in our community. But I don't want to discount needs for environmental stewardship or for uplifting of the arts, our public library, or maybe some of our higher education institutions. So I think as any community, we're very fortunate to have community members who really pay attention. And so thankfully, I would say that support is really there, but it is, back to your question, it is about being aware, and I think that South Sound Partners for Philanthropy really helps to bring that awareness and just connect interested donors, supporters, and volunteers with areas of passion for them so that they can help.
And so how can nonprofit organizations get involved with this network and this educational resource?
Yeah, so one of the first ways is they can go to our website, which is celebrategiving.org, and our organization, we meet monthly on the first Wednesday of the month here at Thurston Community Media. December is a little different because we have a holiday social, but it's an opportunity where people can just show up and, development professionals, nonprofit professionals kind of get a taste of what's going on. Usually every month we have a little bit of an educational snippet or an educational piece of what's going on, what are the trends, what are we seeing, and then a roundtable discussion of what are all of our organizations doing. And then they can also join, and by joining you get opportunities to, educational opportunities and trainings and participation in the meetings, and we have a weekly e-blast of what everyone's doing and what the needs are, and questions. I find it a great opportunity to really network, and when I was new in the development field, I was able to say, what does this mean? Or what are you using for your database? Or how are you doing this? Or have you ever thought about this? Or I don't want to take someone's date for their auction, or there's all different kinds of opportunities, and it's a real sense of how do we celebrate giving and how do we support each other as nonprofits, because we all in the community do really great work and really critical work. So how do we lift all boats, and how do we really collaborate and partner? And I think that's really what South Sound Partners for Philanthropy does.
And with just a few moments left, are there any parting thoughts? We're going into giving season, so what do you want to share?
Well, give local. I think we
Yes.
certainly encourage folks to give to local Thurston County nonprofits. There's definitely need out there, especially with a lot of recent natural disasters and some of the other issue areas that are close to people's hearts. But we do encourage everybody to look in their backyard and seeing whether it's homelessness or the arts, environment, families or children, or higher education. Please consider giving this season and giving generously, because nonprofits do have that multiplier effect, because we have so much volunteer talent available to us and some other resources. So we're really able to multiply your gift by many.
Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
That's all we have for you. You can see Mission Nonprofit on Channel 77 on Sundays at 4:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Thursdays at 7:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. You can also catch us online at tcmedia.org. See you next time.